Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friends. Thank you for stopping by and watching this replay. My name is Svava Brooks, and I'm a trauma recovery coach. And if you're curious about this live stream that you're listening to, we are here, fellow survivor thrivers, on the journey, holding safe spaces and sharing what works, right? And if you're looking for coaching, support, encouragement, please check my website out, svavabrooks.com, or some of the links below, and please reach out if you're looking for support. But the topic of discussion today, it's always related to the healing journey and the journey to the heart. So I'm excited to be here with you. So if you're here with me live right now, say hello. Let me know that you are here so I can welcome you. Hey, Sue. Hey, friend. Yes, I can tell Europe is in the house. Boom, boom. I appreciate you guys so much staying up late to come and be here. From my heart, deeply, deeply appreciate you all. So how are you guys? How is it going over in UK right now? If we start on the weather update, it is pouring rain here in Portland, Oregon today, but I fit in a walk just between the downpour. So I was super excited about that. But I went out there in all the gear, my raincoat, but it started raining as I made it in. So that's right. We are in the daylight savings right now, which is, isn't it amazing how it impacts us? I know a lot of my friends and my family, we are off kilter a little bit with just this 1 hour of change in our time. It's weird, right? A little bit of jet lag. So yes. So how are you guys? I love those flowers, Sue. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. They make me happy. Gray and gloomy, says Sue. I hear you. Yeah, so I have warm tea with me today. I'm drinking blood orange tea. It's actually yummy. I was kind of like, that's different. I'm trying that. So something warm. Rob says, rain and cold has dented my biking mission, but I'm blaming it on my vaccine. Okay, but you're healthy and vaccinated. Woo-hoo! Yay! That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we're all different. You know, some people, my mom has gotten her shots and had a little bit of side effects after the second one, but she's fine now. And now she's looking to book her trip to Iceland. So she's been definitely waiting to be able to go travel. So today, my friends, we are going to build on the conversation we had last time. Maybe it's a little stretch, but last time, remember last week? What did you guys think about our discussion last week? We talked about, right, focusing on the things that we do want, right? We focus so much on the things as part of our healing, on the things that we don't want. So we played a little fill in the blanks. So I got notices from a few of you saying that you enjoyed it. Giant mason jar. Yes. I try to get in at least one of these in the morning and one at night. So I'm not doing so well today. I'm making up for tea. So last week was thumbs up. Awesome. Awesome. Did I get you guys thinking? The brain started spinning around a little bit, maybe in some new areas. Hey, EJ. Phew, you made it. Close call. Close call. So while you guys are getting comfortable, let me set up our conversation. And what I'm talking about today comes from one of my favorite books, of course, Self-Compassion. So we're talking about mindfulness, and we're talking about acceptance. Acceptance. I set you up for a good weekend. Awesome. Excellent. So, right? Mindfulness and acceptance. So what's the first thing that comes up for you when I say acceptance? What's that automatic reaction to the word acceptance? I'm curious to hear from you guys. What comes up for you? While you're typing in your answers. Yeah. Thank you, EJ. Thanks, my friend. This is exactly it, right? Come as you are. Bring it. Bring it. This is what we are doing here. This is what this group is for, this conversation, questions, pushbacks. Oh gosh, Svava, this is hard, right? So I hear you, EJ. And with that, right, remember to practice really good self-care while we are talking through some processes, some concepts that we're like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. And that's actually part of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that. And it's okay. It's normal to feel that way. Conformity and then doubt, says Rob. Great. Thank you. Sue Priestley. Sue says working on it. Working on it. Okay. All right. So let's start by saying, right, let's all remember, all humans, all of us we are all sensitive beings. We all have very fragile nervous systems. All of us. Some of us are just better than others, right? But all of us, this is, as we have discussed a number of times here, it's a full-time job just to navigate this machinery here. And most of us weren't really handed many or any instructions at all, right? I think we've established that. So here, I wrote some notes today to keep myself on topic. So our healing, right, takes place when we are connected to the present moment, right? Mindfulness, fully present, right? Feeling safe, practicing awareness of how our past is showing up in our lives today, right? That's what the healing journey is very much about. And we know our nervous system and our bodies don't necessarily like the present moment, because that means we have to turn towards and recognize what's going on or what has happened. And so very much, and this is actually, whether you have trauma or not, we're doing this. We're taking the past and moving it into the future, right? For a lot of reasons of discomfort, right? So part of healing, again, is developing awareness and learn to use our intuition to distinguish between safety and discomfort. Right? Part of healing, develop that awareness. What's the difference here between safety and discomfort? Because in our nervous system, anything that's uncomfortable for us, for many of us, means it's not safe. And so if we automatically assume it's not safe just because it's uncomfortable, right? We kind of can get in our own way when we're trying to make changes, we're trying to heal. So feeling vulnerable or uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean you are unsafe, right? Hurt doesn't necessarily mean harm. Hurt is your feelings, right? It's your experience. So it's important to know the difference. So another question to you guys, vulnerability. What does vulnerability mean to you? Exactly. Exactly. Right? Like they say, suffering is optional, right? Things happen, life happens, but suffering is optional. Risk, vulnerability, yikes, says EJ, right? Vulnerability, what does vulnerability mean to you? Risk, yes. And if you just pause and think about it, why? Why does vulnerability mean risky, yikes, right? Awesome, Rob. So you got all the answers right here. So to most of us, vulnerability meant unsafe, right? Yes, been hurt. Exactly. And again, when I think about vulnerability in the past, a lot of it was about protecting my heart, right? When I was vulnerable, I was powerless, I was hurt, people took advantage. Um, I opened up for, other people hurting my feelings. Right, exactly. So we needed to protect ourselves. So we came up with strategies, right? Defenses, reactions, responses, all, to cope. But what happened, right? As children, we came up with stories about what was happening in order to survive. But then what happens to us as we grow up and become adults, many of us are still run by those thoughts and feelings about vulnerability, being risky, right? Is it safe, or am I just uncomfortable? Am I not safe, or am I just uncomfortable? So, right. And again, I made myself a note to remind all of us, right? Practice self-compassion for yourself, right? And actually, self-compassion is kind of an outcome out of acceptance. But if I bring it to the front of what we're talking about, be gentle with you, the person who is having a hard time, perhaps, or the person who is struggling, perhaps, with navigating through acceptance and accepting yourself and accepting the feelings and the hurt from the past. So make it okay. Make it okay. So reflecting again here, feeling uncomfortable. Most of us, right? Change asks us to get out of our comfort zone. We have to get uncomfortable because it's a new an experience. And most of us, if we think about it, we do tolerate some things for the sake of having a meaningful life. And not everybody can relate to this, but childbirth, right? We go, I know I went through that 3 times. I actually just heard somewhere someone was saying that when women, after they give birth, they have amnesia. It's like we do not remember the pain. It's gone. And that's probably because of the flood of oxytocin. Rob, yeah, you too, right? And another thing about being uncomfortable, right? Tolerating difficult things for the sake of having a meaningful life. We set goals. We set long-term goals that aligns with our values, but that means we're navigating short and long-term consequences and the hope of long-term benefit. I know a lot of people here are starting to walk, get out into nature and walk. And what's the goal? We want to feel better. We want to be healthier. Do we always want to go out the door and walk? Yes and no, but we do it because we know it's good for us, right? And we have the goal. And maybe maybe you have a goal for the month or for the year of how much walking you're going to get in. So the middle way is what we are seeking, navigating how we feel from day to day while life happens, right? We're also focusing on creating a meaningful life, healing our hearts, building connections with ourselves and others. We know it's not always comfortable. And again, right, we know that our nervous system dictates our lives in many ways, especially if we have unresolved trauma. That stress, that tension lives in our nervous system, and we are wired for protection. We are wired, right? There's nothing we can do about it until we become aware of it. So being gentle with ourselves. So, but let's talk about, like, our mind has its own natural ways of avoiding distress, right? Discomfort. There you go. I've had some good experiences after being vulnerable, says Rob here. Yes, exactly. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. And I'm glad you remember those. We need to collect that data. We need to collect that evidence, because we have a lot of evidence from the others, the hurt, the opposite of what I expected. I know, right? So good for you, Rob. So let's talk about our defense mechanism, right? Because we are hardwired for protection, and it makes sense that our mind, right, when things get too much, right, we have denial, we have projections, and we have splitting, right? Splitting is our black or white thinking. It happens when we feel threatened. It comforts us in this moment, right? Us and them, black or white. In the moments, helps us to feel better. Denial is the refusal to accept something that is causing us anxiety, right? Projections is when we shift our unacceptable feelings and impulses onto another person to feel better about ourselves. I think we see a lot of that in the world, unfortunately. So denial mechanisms, just like coping strategies, are useful when they help us to navigate, right, to create a balance, right? They help us to stay out of overwhelm, where we shut down literally until we're ready to deal with it. So if you recognize that, yeah, I got a blind spot here, or I kind of have a black or white thinking about this, or no, I'm not ready to deal with that issue or that relationship or that problem. It's give yourself some kindness. Give yourself self-compassion. Exactly, Rob. Exactly. 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 So, it's like a coping strategy. It's useful, right? Useful. And I used to be incredibly hard on myself, when I realized there was something that I was denying or not ready to face. But then I was like, come on, don't be so hard on yourself. Be gentle with yourself. I know you, right? I know me. I will do the best I can. I will make that change. I will push through, when I'm ready, but I'm clearly not ready. And so to be gentle with myself, right? And part of that journey of self-compassion and acceptance is very much, how my books came to be, because I recognized it was that daily practice, that daily focus, the daily intention about those little accepted pieces that I recognized, like the steps to create lasting change. It wasn't like some big giant move that I made, but it was in those daily practices, those little choices, right? Right? The little choices that we sometimes have to make over and over and over again until the shift happens. I know, Sue, it can be so hard to accept when I'm not ready. Yes, exactly. But it's important, and we're going to go through the steps of acceptance. So I'm hoping to give you the language and the awareness to recognize when you're being hard on yourself. No, I'm in the process of accepting. I'm working my way through this. And none of these steps are linear as we go. We guys know it's like most of the processes that we go on our healing journey, they're kind of, they're they're circular. We sometimes go down or sometimes we go up, and then sometimes we skip forward and then sometimes we regress. And it's all good. It's all good. So let's see here. I'm looking at my notes. Yes. Right? So it's that daily mindfulness practice, being aware of what's going inside, what is driving my thoughts and my actions. Is it my nervous system, right? What state am I in? Am I socially engaged? Am I grounded? Or have I been pushed into fight, flight? Or have I been pushed all the way into freeze and shut down, right? Notice our instincts to avoid pain and seek pleasure are often what create that stress, right? Just like Sue, you said, hard to accept when I'm not ready. It's hard to accept that this is where I'm in, the stage that I'm in. And to learn to see things as they are, to see ourselves as we are, not as good or bad, right? Black or white, but with acceptance, helps us to get through, So the process of turning towards discomfort occurs in stages, starting with our usual resistance or change over time, like I just mentioned. But over time, we do become softer and less resistance to our suffering. So the stages, the first one, aversion, resistance, avoidance, rumination, right? That's the first step. We avoid, as we just mentioned, we know why. And we may try to ruminate, think about it, try to solve the problem with our thinking. And I know I have done that a lot. Let me know if anyone else can relate. Anybody else? Think about it. Oh, yes. Thank you, Sue. So when that doesn't work, we are open to the next stage. That's when we open up to the next stage. And so what's the next stage? Curiosity, right? My favorite word. Be curious, right? I often tell myself, okay, I've thought about this, I don't know how often and how many different ways. How can I be open to the possibility, right? Be curious. Maybe there's something here that I'm not aware of. So turn towards the discomfort with interest. That's what that is, right? Be curious about what you're noticing. What is the thought? What is the feeling? When does it happen? And why? Be curious, right? Little detective work. When we know what we're dealing with, then we're ready for the next stage. So right now, what are you working on? What is something that you're curious about? Is there something on your healing journey or in your life right now that you're turning towards with curiosity? Donna is a detective. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes. Anyone else, right? And and I often say, right, the healing journey, I feel like most of my time in recovery was searching for the information, right? I was relentless, and that's why I'm here, right? I was like, okay, you've told me I have trauma, you've told me I have PTSD, you've told me that childhood messes up with your mind and your body and like creates havoc in our nervous system. But I was curious. I'm like, please, someone show me how to fix it. I have read enough books about that I'm broken. I need someone to show me how to fix it. I wasn't always fun or pretty, but right? Rob says, I was getting scared about traveling, like self-doubt and unworthy, which I'm wondering about. Yes, I hear you. Yes, I hear you. I'm desperate to travel on one hand, but scared to leave on the other. Yes, Rob, I hear you. Anyone else relate? I so can relate, right? I want this, but I don't want it. Right? We do this. We do this. What is the thought? What is the feeling? The cancellation, the virus, self-beliefs, all combined, perhaps? Yes. But that's where we become curious about it. And it's like, okay, is this like we do a reality check, right? I used to do a lot of reality checks, a lot of them when I was sorting out, like, is this me? Is this my inner child? Is this my inner critic? Is this my ego? Because I wasn't sure for a while. So be curious and start to notice, like in your body, like when I was in my inner child, I would feel a certain way, or in certain relationships, certain conversations would come up that would trigger certain things. So, Rob, I hear you, my friend, but reality checks are awesome. They are fantastic. And of course, we have to be vulnerable. So bringing you to, okay, find safe people, preferably peers, right, who are on this journey. So when you call or email and say, hey, I need a reality check. I'm having these thoughts or I'm having these feelings and I'm a little confused. This is the situation. These are the thoughts that I'm having. This is how I'm thinking about responding. What do you think? Is this my adult self here, or is this my inner child? Am I being defensive, argumentative, defending myself, or am I just setting a boundary in a healthy way, right? We need to practice. For a lot of us, these are all new skills. And give ourselves a lot of grace. And I promise you, when you reach out to a couple people and ask, hey, can I do a reality check with you? I promise you will think it's a great idea. Exactly. Rob, I hear you. Yeah, exactly. When they go like, oh, no, you're not crazy. That's crazy. It's not you. It's not you. That's not normal. Hey, Elizabeth. Welcome, friend. Good to see you. So, again, right? Noticing our resistance, right? As part of acceptance. It's the resistance. We avoid, ruminate, think about it. And when we realize I've thought it to death, what's next, right? And then turning towards it with curiosity, turning towards the discomfort. And then the next stage, right, when we've been curious, is the stage that he talks about, tolerance. We safely are enduring. We are enduring the emotional pain, still wishing it to go away, but some part of us may still be resisting, right? Remember, we are also building capacity, right? With our bodies, with our nervous system to feel, to heal, to let go, right? And we may start small, little few tears, right? Express some anger, right? And then slowly over time, it's like we understand because we've done the curiosity work. I recognize when this happened, I have these feelings, right? They keep showing up. And so I realize there's a reason why these feelings are here. They're from my past. I know I can't move forward without expressing some of these feelings because they trigger me feeling abandoned. They trigger me not feeling valuable or worthy, right? So by expressing them, we do kind of our own inner reality check, right? I don't know about you guys. Most of us minimized what happened to us, right? We minimized the hurt. So we are practicing how to safely endure the emotional pain. Yeah, still wishing it would go away, maybe even resisting. But as we let go of the resistance more and accept that feeling is part of life, right? Feeling is part of life. It's part of the human condition. It's part of being human. It's part of the full range, the whole experience. And when we accept that the feeling part is part of our life and part of healing, and then we enter the stage of allowing. I hear you, EJ. Why? Why? Because not feeling, repressing, we are creating stress, right? The feelings are energy, emotions are energy in motion, right? And we spent a lot of energy repressing, holding it down, for all the reasons, for all the good reasons too, right? There's a reason why we're uncomfortable with it. Because we can't just, when there's a menu of feelings, right? From happy to bad, there's so many feelings, options. If we put a lid on feelings, we are putting the lid on all feelings. All feelings. Instead of like, okay, I'm gonna choose, I want happy, I want glad, right? I'll be sad every now and then, but I don't want anything else. I just want what we think are the good feelings. I hear you, EJ. I hear you, friend. I hear you. There is no good. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. And I understand, right? And it's okay, right? And to practice acceptance that's where you're at, and that's okay. That's where you're at, right? And then the next stage, once we realize we are safely enduring, kicking and screaming, right? I talk about the messy middle. Not fun or pretty. Feelings are for the birds. Got it. Got it, EJ. Then we enter the stage of allowing, letting the feelings come and go. We are now aware of them. We know how they show up. And we also know that our feelings may come and go for a while. And yes, there were times where I'm like, when is this crying gonna end? When is this heartache gonna be over? When is this grief gonna be done? Yes. But I also realized it got actually easier the less I was like repressing, avoiding, or distracting myself from feeling. But for a long time, it wasn't safe. I was worried when I opened that, box that it would be something I wouldn't be able to control. Yep, it's exhausting. As I've got older, I've had less energy to repress feelings. Yes, exactly. I hear you, Sue. I hear you. I hear you. I'm pretty sure that repressing them has been a major factor in all my health complications over the last 4.5 years. Yes, I hear you. I hear you, EJ. And I know you're doing a beautiful job, my friend, working on healing your body. So, and expressing your feelings. You're doing the best you can. Absolutely. So, and remember, your body is always doing the best it can, the same you are. So, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. And so, let's see, where was I here? Allowing, right? Many of us, like I said, we are sitting on a mountain of unprocessed feelings, sadness, grief, from the past. And then, the last year or so in the world, it's brought up a lot of feelings, right? There's a lot of loss happening for all the different reasons right now. So, feeling our feelings, showing our tears, or, crying, releasing, it's honoring our truth. Our feelings are our truth. It's the most authentic part of ourselves. And when we express those, that hurt from the past, we are honoring our little ones, our inner children, right? That for a long time, no one thought, they thought no one was going to believe them. And when we talk about it, when we express it, they're paying attention. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Hey, Elizabeth. I'm sorry to hear you're struggling, some health challenges. I'm glad you're here. Rob, you're so sweet. Sending lots of love and healing to you, Elizabeth. Sue says, repressed for years, but in the end, my health broke down. Yep, I hear you, Sue. I hear you. The more I learn about the body and, and our nervous system, when I look back at my childhood as a teenager, I think I told you guys, I used to get uncontrollable, like random nosebleeds, and I would pass out, like just drop down here and there. And I was sent in for examination, saw a heart specialist because I do have a heart murmur, and they found nothing. And now I'm like, duh, no one asked me what was going on at home, right? How stressful and scared I was about going home. So I just know my body was literally disassociating, checking out constantly. So that's a lot of stress, a lot of tension. So as we allow letting those feelings come and go, ebb and flow, We enter the stage of friendship, making friends with our feelings, realize the value in them and what they give us, right? Because they are messengers, right? They are here for a reason. There's something that's asking to be seen, to be heard, to be validated, whether it's from the past, but if it's showing up here and right now, it's asking, what needs your attention? Do you need to set a boundary? Do you need to speak up? Do you need to leave? Do you need to say something? Right? And also to remember, as we make friends with our feelings, right? They can still take time and they are not linear, as we already established and talked about. And the deeper the pain, the longer it can take. And we want to do our best to not rush or push, because if we're pushing, that means we're avoiding, right? So that's something I think I also learned the hard way. Once I understood the feeling thing, okay, I'm just going to go and do this feeling thing, like just push through it. I'm just going to feel, and then I'll be done with it. No, didn't work that way. I tried. So I realized that feeling was going to be kind of a regular occurrence for a while. And I learned to work with it, to live with it in a way. So just get on with it. Yes, exactly. I hear you, Sue. It's like, oh, can we just get on with this? Can we just move on? Can we be done with this, right? So, but it makes sense. So going through these steps, knowing them, identify where you might be, build a relationship with your feelings and your thoughts is what helps us to be kinder towards ourselves, right? Kinder towards ourselves. And that, my friends, right, is self-compassion in action. Kind towards you. The feelings and the thoughts, they're just messages going through you. But the most important part is you, the container, right? So ultimately, acceptance is about self-acceptance, right? So the opposite of acceptance is resistance. Whereas resistance creates suffering, tension. Acceptance alleviates it, right? When someone comes and pushes at you, you automatically push back, right? You can't help it. And again, for all the reasons we know, because of our childhoods and the things that happen to us, we automatically constrict for protection, right? So to be gentle with ourselves, work with our bodies, work with our minds, work with our feelings, be curious about finding the resistance in our thoughts, in our feelings, and how we can make friends with them. Bring them from the opposite side onto our side, right? And again, remember, acceptance doesn't mean we're tolerating bad behavior from others, right? It's about open emotionally to what is happening with us in the present moment. So, like, as an example, if we're in a painful relationship, acceptance doesn't mean we say yes to that entire relationship. Rather, it means acknowledging that this hurts. And acceptance is not resignation or stagnation. It's a very active process. And change naturally follows acceptance, right? What do they say? What we resist persists. So we need to know what we are accepting. What am I accepting? That's the awareness. So accepting, choosing to accept my thoughts, my feelings, my sensations as they are, moment to by moment, right? Moment to moment. And the next step after that is acceptance of the person whom the feelings, the thoughts, the hurt, all that is happening to. Acceptance of and accepting of the person whom it's happening to. Sounds easy, right? Sue, I hear you. I hear you. Sounds easy, easier said and done, right? But again, I like when things are broken down for me. And if there's a process that I need to understand about healing, show me the steps. I call them roadmaps. And to be mindful of, am I using this information against myself? Am I measuring or judging myself, right? Oh, I'm not doing enough, or doing it perfectly, right? But no, it's like, okay, where am I? And again, we go through the cycle number of times. Each time we become aware of something we didn't know we didn't know. So then we recognize, oh, wait, I'm going to think about this. Right? And then, okay, I've thought about it. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn towards it. Be curious. Everything sounds easy or looks easier when they do it on TV. Yes. Or YouTube, right? I hear you, EJ. Sue, yes, I am more than happy to post them. Absolutely. I am. So, my friends, I hope this has gotten your mind pondering, recognizing maybe what are you working on in your healing journey right now? What step are you in? What are you working through? What are, what's maybe the reoccurring theme? And for me, like I said, having some of these steps, it gave me clarity. It helped me to see, okay, I'm not stuck. I'm not broken, right? I'm in this step. I'm in this process. This is it. I'm like in these 2 steps right now. Okay, I'm in the allowing. Okay, I think I'm going to be in this allowing stuff for a long time, right? I'm just going to be allowing. And once I get comfortable with allowing and becoming friends with one range of feelings and challenges, I'm sure there's another I get to visit. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. And of course, I pulled the perfect card given our topic. One day, she woke up and restored balance. Making friends with our feelings. Doing the healing work on one hand, and then doing what brings you joy on the other. And maybe in the middle, those two shall meet. Even though feeling the feelings is not fun or pretty, it has certainly brought me great joy to go through the process. I'm right here with you guys now. So wouldn't change any of it. So making friends with resistance. Yes, Sue, right? It's your friend, right? It's your protector. Like, what is it protecting? Right? How can you ask, get to know it? Yeah. Protectors don't give up their jobs until they recognize someone or something here is helping. And when we start practicing some of these things and allowing the feelings to come up and hold space for our feelings and making it okay for our inner child to come up with the feelings and share them with us, right? Then the protectors backs off. We negotiate. We give the protector or manager a different job. Balance is a 4-letter word. I know, EJ. I know. All right, sweet friends. Thank you as always for being here. I appreciate the thumbs up here on YouTube and your engagement and support for each other and sharing means a lot to all of us. Exactly. So I couldn't have picked a better card. You're welcome, Elizabeth. I hope you feel better. You're welcome, sweet friends. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to being here with you again next week, same time, same place. Until then, be gentle with your bodies and your hearts and your spirits. All right, sweet friends. Take care. See you next week.